Yo, it's TheGIBBYNATR. In this video I'm going to be giving you some blackout tips to help you get more wins, or more importantly help you get your first win if you haven't had it yet. Yesterday I played blackout for the first time and I made a lot of mistakes which were causing me to lose the games and not get many kills. So in this video I'll be covering them and hopefully you won't make the same mistakes and you'll be able to get some wins. So the first mistake I made was the game mode that I was playing. I was playing solos thinking that I would have a lot of fun in that because that's what I normally do in Call of Duty. But this isn't Call of Duty, this is Battle Royale. It's a completely different type of game and it doesn't feel like Call of Duty to me at all. So what I want you to play is quads. Even if you don't have teammates to play with, just go into quads and just let the game fill in random people with you. Because in quads I find that a lot of people are actually running around because everyone's like playing with their mates and that. Everyone's running around, they're on quads, they're in vehicles, having fun, just cruising around. But in solos everyone is so campy. I can't tell you the amount of times I die to kids camping in random rooms, in bushes, just lying down in random parts of the map. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous. Playing solos is painful and I wouldn't recommend anyone does it. So yeah, go into quads and honestly you'll have a lot of fun. Everyone's running around and actually having a team is very helpful because if you do get knocked down it isn't over. Your teammates can pick you back up and revive you so you have another chance. So essentially as long as you've got good teammates you could die like wow, you could get knocked down like 5 times and still get a win in the end. So if you're just looking for that first W, you can easily just do this by playing quads and trying to find a good team. If you just keep doing quads you're bound to find a good team eventually that will help you get a win. And even if your teammates aren't good, it means that you can use them as bait. I've done it so many times. I know that there's another squad like nearby, so I'll stick with my teammates and let them push first, and then when my teammates get knocked I just come through and get the kills. It's a bit scummy, but yo, you've got to do what you've got to do to get those kills and get the wins. And yeah, as well as that, quads, I find it quite good because most quads, when people are with their mates, they want to go to Nuketown Island, they want to go to a firing range. So you get all these people just go into these concentrated areas, meaning that loads of the unnamed places are left untouched, so you can go there and get a load of good loot and just decrease your chance of dying, which is what you want so you can get that win. The next thing you want to do is when you're actually in like the waiting area, you want to figure out where you want to land. And I would recommend landing in places that are unnamed. So what I mean by that is obviously you've got places like Nuketown Island, Rivertown, all of those places that have a name written on the map. If you find places like where there's just like a cluster of buildings that don't have a name on them, I would recommend you aim for them because they normally have pretty good loot and literally no one goes to them. So you can just go get a load of loot and not die. So you're still alive, and by the time you've looted all the buildings, most people will already be dead. Like half of the people will be dead, so meaning that you're already in the top 40 people, which just makes it so much easier to get in the last few and get that win. A handy little tip that I learned for when you see people landing in the location in front of you, meaning that they'll get the loot and kill you if you land there and you need to go somewhere else. What you can actually do is accelerate straight downwards to 60 meters per second, and when you see the bar hit that on the side, you want to pull back on your stick and that's going to push you up in the air and you're literally just going to glide for miles, and it's going to like make it so that you can travel the maximum distance possible. So you can go past the location that you're planning on going to and then go to another building which is a lot less busy with no people there, so you can get some loot and keep yourself in the game. Because there's been so many games where I land somewhere where there's someone in front of me and I literally just know I'm dead, so I just quit. But now knowing this technique I can go somewhere else and just pick up some loot, which is really handy. The best location that I'd recommend you land in is an unnamed spot between Rivertown and Asylum / the graveyard. So this little spot is so goddamn good. It's actually to the right of Rivertown over a bridge, so you're miles away from them. They literally would have to be sniping you to actually see you. And the graveyard and asylum are at the top of a mountain and they don't have a line of sight on you. So it's literally like completely safe and your chances of getting killed are pretty slim. I've actually only ever seen a couple people here. So yeah, I think it's a really good spot to go to. And when I am here, I always get the best loot. I literally landed here like 3 times in a row. I won pretty much every single game. I think I came 3rd in one of them, which was a bit annoying, but yeah. I landed there and every time I was getting the Titan LMG, which is probably my favourite gun so far, and the Scar H, or the Rampart 17, what it's actually called. And the Rampart 17 was definitely my favourite assault rifle from the first beta, and it absolutely melts people. It's literally like the Scar H from Black Ops 2. Such a good gun. I would say it's the best assault rifle in Blackout mode. So to be getting the best assault rifle and then the best LMG in the game, you're literally sorted just from that. And whenever I land here as well, I always get body armor, and body armor is definitely vital. There's always plenty of med kits and stuff, and it's just a really good place to go to. And to put the cherry on top, there's always a quad bike there. Every time I've landed there, there's always been a quad bike, so you can use that quad bike to go up the mountain to the graveyard where there's a mystery box, and you can have a hit at that and potentially get the ray gun or some other really good like old-fashioned, like the MP40 or the MG15 I think it is. You can get some really fun guns, and you can potentially get like the OP level 3 knight armor, which literally turns you into a god. And yeah, I actually forgot to mention that when I last went to this location, I got 2 trauma kits which literally give you 200 health. So to get that literally just puts you at a massive advantage over everyone. If you get that kind of loot, you're pretty much unkillable, and you've basically guaranteed the win if you get that kind of loot. What I like to do from this spot is actually push up to Asylum, because a lot of people go there for the chance of actually getting the ray gun and stuff. So if you can go there like 5-10 minutes after everyone's been killing each other, you can just go up there and pick the last couple dudes off and pick up their guns that they've had to fight for. And I've done that loads of times, and it's pretty sick just to give the ray gun a go. I don't actually think it's that good. I wouldn't recommend you get it. I'd much rather have a Titan or a Rampart. I just find it a lot more consistent than the ray gun, but it's always a bit of good fun to get the ray gun. In terms of weapons, I would always recommend you pick up at least 1 assault rifle, because the map is absolutely huge and you're always going to be getting into long range gunfights, and having two SMGs or a shotgun is just not going to cut it. You're literally going to get outgunned by everyone unless you're going to camp in buildings, but I don't recommend you do that. So yeah, using assault rifles and LMGs and snipers are definitely the ones I recommend. 2 assault rifles is probably what I would normally run with unless I find the Titan. It's a lot more common for you to find assault rifles than it is the Titan. The Titan's like really rare in my case, but I do always find it at the spot that I mentioned. But yeah, like the ICR-7, the KM57, those are 2 really good assault rifles. You could always also pick up like the ABR or the Swordfish. They're also really good guns as well. Burst weapons which literally mount people. So you just want to be going for those types of guns. Like the SMGs, I mean, I do like the Cordite, but other than that, like, they're not that great. I find them really weak, and normally if someone's got body armor on and I'm shooting someone mid-range, I literally have to put a whole mag in them and then switch to my assault rifle to finish them off, because they just sponge the SMG bullets. So I'd recommend you stay away from SMGs and use the assault rifles. This next thing that I recommend you do is something that I don't see anyone doing, except from like the really good players. But yeah, a lot of people pick up the perks and abilities and don't actually use them. Like, they just save them and they say that they're going to use them when they get in a good like situation where they need them, but they just forget about them because they're not on your screen, they're not visible until you actually pull up your inventory. So you're better off just like activating them straight away. That is what I like to do, because you constantly find these perks around the map. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm talking about the awareness, the dead silence, the loot at, all of these things, all of these like perks and abilities that you find on the map as loot. I recommend you activate them straight away, because they're so common as well. Like, by the time you actually run out of the ones that you just activated, the chances are you're going to find more by either killing someone, or you're just going to loot a building that's going to have more in it, which you can activate again. You can just keep doing it. So especially with like awareness and dead silence, they're really OP, because it means you can sound haul better. And obviously in this game mode, if you can hear someone behind you before they can hear you, that is literally like, you're golden. You're going to get those kills and you're going to survive, which is great. And dead silence is really good because they literally won't be able to hear you. Another really good one is the looter one, which literally allows you to see loot through walls. So you can see if loot disappears, you know that there's someone there, so you can either go and challenge them or run away if you think there might be a squad there. Once you've got all of your loot sorted, what I want you to do is stick to the edge of the safe zone. What this is going to mean is that you're pretty much protected from by the storm. It's going to protect you because the chance of enemies being in the storm and coming up behind you is going to be very slim. So it literally means that you can guarantee no one's going to come from behind you if you're at the edge of the zone. So you're literally protected from that whole side. That means that you can literally just focus on what's in front of you and to the sides, and it's going to make your life a lot easier. I would also recommend like just playing very stealth like. You don't want to be shooting people across the map. map. You want to pick your gunfights very wisely, because otherwise you're going to bait yourself out, and then people will start getting smart and they will go out of the storm and try and come up behind you if you are in like a nice advantageous spot. This tactic works really well if you do have a quad bike or a truck, because you can literally just cruise around the edge of the safe zone non-stop pretty much until the last 10 people are there, and then you can hop out of it, get in like a nice head glitch and just wait for people to come to you. It's a bit trampy, but if you're gonna if you're trying to get your first win, I'm sorry, but this is the method you've got to use, because rushing around just won't cut it. You're gonna die a lot, and yeah, it just doesn't make sense to do, especially when you're playing solo in the quads mode, because you could come up against the whole squad and get absolutely clapped. So I recommend you just be passive, stick in a quad bike and just be off in like the mountains, or just like in places where they're like, just go off-road basically, because people won't expect you to be off-road. So if you can just chill on a quad bike, be a constant moving target, people won't expect you to be doing that at all. That's how you will survive. When you are patrolling the edge of the safe zone in your vehicle, what I recommend you actually do when you find people is, if you're in the truck, you want to use the back of it as a head glitch. You can actually climb into the back of the truck and crouch, and you can literally have the perfect head glitch to challenge people. So literally the truck is very OP. It's literally a move-in head glitch, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have its disadvantages, because it is very slow, meaning that you can get shot quite easily when you're in it. But you can body kids so easily by just like cruising up to them, getting in the back of your own truck, just head glitching that back bit. You can easily beam kids off it. I've done it so many times, and you can literally lie down in the back of the truck and they won't be able to shoot you at all. You'll be 100% protected. So when you do get shot, you can just heal by lying down and literally just get all your health back, and then re-engage in the gunfight. With the quad, a sneaky little trick you can do is actually swap seats. So if you see people like you're getting shot in the back, you can swap seats and you'll literally just be looking straight at them. But obviously you've got to make sure you're not about to drive into a river or a tree or something. But yeah, you can like slow down before you actually swap as well, just to make it a bit easier. And when you do switch seats, you can use your gun so you can shoot them. It is quite difficult when you're moving fast, but as I say, if you do slow the quad bike down a little bit, you can easily take it down. They won't expect you to do that. It's definitely a better tactic than just jumping off the quad bike when you're going really fast, because you do a lot of damage to yourself like that, and you literally make yourself a sitting duck just in the middle of nowhere, and you're most definitely going to die. Something that I don't see a lot of people doing is when they do get shot and they need to heal, is they tend to just like stand still, and that is literally like being a sitting duck. You can actually sprint around whilst using the med kits and the bandages, which is really good, because obviously you can sprint away from people when they're shooting you and get your health back. So it makes you a harder target to hit. It gives you, it like buys you a bit more time in gunfights, and just like, it's just a really good tactic to do. A lot of people, they just freeze up, they stand still, they get in a corner and regenerate their health, but you don't want to do that. You want to be moving constantly, making yourself a harder target, and just making it harder to actually find you. Because if you can just sprint off down a random alleyway whilst you're healing yourself, you're literally just buying yourself time, making it more likely that you can pull off those kills. So definitely start moving around, even if it's just a little move left and right whilst you're healing. It's going to make you harder to hit, so I'll definitely recommend doing that. The next tip is to only engage in gunfights that you think you can win. There's no point if you've got like an SMG trying to shoot someone across the map. There's no point in shooting someone across the map like really far away with an assault rifle if you know you can't hit them, if they're just like too far away for your literal like bullet range to hit. Unless you've got a sniper, just don't engage in those long gunfights. Try and stay as sneaky as possible and make it so you're not shooting your gun and baiting yourself out. What I would recommend you do is just like stay really stealthy and like stick to like trees and other things that you can hide behind, and just get to a closer range where you can actually start to land some shots and guarantee that you get the kill. Because the last thing you want to do is be at the top of a mountain miles away from people and just start spraying your gun, because then everyone in the game is going to know where you are and they're going to come and kill you, which is just really stupid. And yeah, you don't want to be doing that. Also, if you see like one person running in front of you, don't chase after them, because the chances are their squad's going to be with them somewhere else. So just give it a couple of seconds, think about it, have a little look around, and if you don't see anyone, go ahead and shoot them, because otherwise you'll get absolutely clapped by an enemy squad. If you are getting shot at like a pretty long range, even medium range, and you need to reload or something, and you're literally in the middle of nowhere with no cover, what I recommend you do is literally just like spin around in circles and slide around. It will make you a really hard target, especially at long range. People will not be able to hit you. I've done this so many times. I've literally juked out like 3 people that are all looking at me at once before, and literally like reloaded, but like I ran out of bullets and I managed to survive for like 5 minutes just running around them, spinning around, sliding, and just making myself a really hard target to hit. So that's what I recommend you do if you do get caught out in the middle of the open getting shot. Is like, it's kind of like your last hope. It's all you can do to try and survive. When you're trying to get into the last people, what I recommend you do is stay away from the main roads, because a lot of squads actually run down these main roads and they're just looking for places to loot. So if you stay away from them, you're literally like, you're going to be Gucci, you're going to just go off road and no one's going to find you, and that gives you a massive advantage because you can just be observing these people going down the main roads and you can figure out what their next moves are going to be, and you can consider challenging them and just figuring out smart plays to actually get to them. Just like what I like to do is find a power position that I can just patrol around where there's lots of nice like head glitches and stuff, and just like lots of obstacles that I can use to my advantage to like confuse the enemies and just act as cover for me. Especially when you're in the last couple of people, you want to be doing that. You need to find yourself a proper power position. I like, well, I mean, I can't really tell you a power position because the last circle could be anywhere on the map, but for me in this video it was in like the mountains, and I was just using like rocks and stuff. And as I said, you can use your own vehicle as a head glitch and just an obstacle to protect you from enemy bullets. The next tip is to look for supply drops. They actually drop quite frequently, and if you're next to one, it's definitely worth going and picking up because you can get some really good loot in these. They have guns that are like literally maxed out with attachments, and they literally will melt people because they'll have like extended mags, long barrel, sights on them. And they'll just be really nice guns. And you can also get like the grenade launcher, which is pretty good. I actually missed like all of my shots in this gameplay somehow, but it is really overpowered. If you do hit your bullets with it, you can take out a lot of people, and it's especially good for taking on vehicles. Like if you come up and you're against a squad and they're all in a truck, you can just blow up the truck and kill them all, which is sick. So yeah, look out for supply drops. They do contain some really good stuff. And then finally, I want you to save all of your equipment for that last fight, because if you have Molotovs, grenades, all of that stuff, you can easily push people out of head glitches, because the final bit is always about being in a power point. Everyone always tries to get a building to lock down or some head glitches to lock down. So if you can force people out of those power positions using grenades, Molotovs, not smoke grenades, sorry, concussion grenades, all of those, they are really good just to save up for that last fight. You can push them out of their buildings and then absolutely destroy them. But yo, that is all of the tips that I've got so far. I will do a lot more of these because I do have more tips, but the video is getting on to be very long. If you did enjoy it, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, if you could leave a like on the video, that'd be much appreciated. But yeah, I'm going to be uploading a lot more of Blackout and Black Ops 4 content, so yeah, be on the lookout for that. It's been the TheGIBBYNATR, and I'll see you in the next video, lads. Peace.